Get ready for the Squawking Eagles Podcast, the show that covers only the Philadelphia Eagles. Think different. Think Squawking Eagles Podcast.
Welcome to the Squawking Eagles Podcast, our first Super Bowl as a podcast win. Welcome, boys.
Let's go. Super Bowl champions. EAGLES, the Eagles. Let's go.
Eagles. Let's go, Birds.
This hits different. Because
Wow.
I don't know, you guys remember 2 years ago when we first started this podcast, we had to do a Super Bowl loss podcast, and it wasn't until like a week and a half later till we recorded. Remember? Do you remember that?
So painful.
Yeah, I think we were really upset.
Right? And now it's the day after. This is a Monday. We've all decided we're going to squeeze in and talk. We got to talk. It's early.
Pretty much.
The feeling is feeling good. We're still riding high. A little hungover, a little bit.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Pretty much 24 hours after the start of the game.
Right? Yeah. This is where we're at. And what a trip it's been. I couldn't even sleep last night, to be honest with you.
I couldn't sleep the night before or last night. But the alcohol helped last night, so
I had a lot of fun. And I'm still in shock. So we're going to talk a little bit about our feelings on the game, how we watched the game, what we do when it was over, and then our next podcast will be our Reacts podcast. We're going to watch it, and we're going to watch it on a condensed version on YouTube. We'll put out the link later this week, and that will be on Thursday. So, Miguel, I saw what your party was like. I was following your party.
Yeah, wish you guys were there.
I wish I was there too. You had a life-size eagle at your party.
Yeah, that was a surprise. That was my sister-in-law Angie. She brought an inflatable eagle costume, and right before kickoff was dancing to "Blow the Whistle," entertaining us all. She stole the show. It was hilarious. But yeah, we are at my dad's house. My cousins, my siblings, a bunch of other family members and friends of family members. They all came. Everybody chipped in. Mom cooked. Dad cooked. So plenty of food, plenty of alcohol. We took about 4 shots before the game started, and then a shot for every Eagles touchdown, which we didn't know was going to be as many as there were. But yeah, it was a great time. It was definitely a memorable night. I'll forever remember this Super Bowl.
I'm excited to hear more. Mark, you started telling us about how you were getting ready for your game. How was the experience for you? What was your experience like?
I mean, couldn't ask for a better Super Bowl. What a great game. Great amount of people I was with. I ended up a buddy Mike, pretty much a brother of mine. We've been together, buddies for a little over 15. Actually, we're getting close to 20 years here. And so me and him went over to his sister's place, who was having a little bit of a little Super Bowl party. In their basement, they have like 100-inch projector screen.
Nice.
So, yeah, we got to watch the game where I'm standing next to a Hertz who's maybe this tall, because he's just that size on the screen. We got to see the game real nice up and close. A lot of good people, a lot of good food. Pizza, wings, cheesesteaks, pretzels galore. Got to have all the soft pretzels.
Of course.
We had burger bombs, we had buffalo chicken bombs. Like there was just everything of food you could have. Beer, garage beers are flowing. A phenomenal night with some phenomenal people. Just pitch black room, just lit up by the projector. We had surround sound going on. The game was just nutty to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just, I might have lost a few pounds from sweating so much down there. It was like, it got hot. We got real up and going.
A lot of people in a small space. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And it's a big basement they have, but when you get all this down there going crazy, it got up there. I mean, we're cheering through the roof on all these plays. We started scoring. I come down. I was telling people at the beginning, it's going to be a blowout. People are like still kind of has them like, nah, we're going to blow them out. Just like I did on prediction was what 45-19.
Yeah.
And you know what kills me? I thought in my head of saying 22 because of that little meme video I sent you guys where it's like Taylor Swift talking about being 22.
Yeah.
And then Iron Man comes on, and I almost was like, you know what, 45-22. And I was like, nah, they're not breaking 20. What about 19? I should have said it.
You know, they hit 22, but like against Sidney Brown and Tristan McCullum in the backfield.
Yeah, and not only that, their second touchdown was 100% holding on 3 members of the O-line. Yeah. They're just like, whatever. We're 40-6. Let's let them have it.
Like, okay, so like it's like let him take the touchdown. Like I watched the game. My family decided they were going to watch the whole game with me. They did. I was surprised. They haven't watched a football game with me all year, and they want to watch the Super Bowl.
Hell yeah.
But my wife is like, yeah, I'm a fan now. I'm like, yeah, you are a fan now. Eagles win the Super Bowl, you're a fan. Yeah, sure you are. She felt bad for Pat Mahomes because she likes Pat Mahomes from watching that quarterback show. So I'm like, you can't. But then I was like, see, your boy, he can't beat the Eagles though. He can't beat the Eagles.
Like trash.
So it was. I enjoyed it. You know, the food was flowing. I went on the Fumble Rooski podcast earlier in the week, and we did this whole thing where you drafted your Super Bowl plate of what would 5 things you would want on your plate. And so we did like a draft, like a steak draft, and I had Philly cheesesteaks, I had Philly pretzels, I had Bird Gang bourbon, chicken fingers, sliders, and Amish eclair pudding pie.
Okay,
it was solid.
I've been there, had that. That's solid. Amazing.
Solid.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was good.
Well,
So it was fun to do that.
Like, I want wings and pizza and beer, like everyone else in the world.
Yeah, they're mostly like it was like that. Taco dip, Doritos, stuff like that.
A lot of potato chips.
Yeah.
Remind me about taco dip later. I got something to share with you guys off the pod that I think y'all enjoy.
All right. So let's hear. Okay, let's talk. I guess let's break it down. First half, second half. Here we can talk a little bit how you feel about the first half, how you feel about the second half.
We smacked them.
Going in a second, who would have thought the Eagles would be up 24-0?
Yeah.
Going into time. Anybody?
Yeah,
Come on. Seriously, like
I was expecting us to beat them down. I was not expecting us to shut them out.
I wasn't expecting that either. I was actually asking people in the room, when's the last time a Super Bowl team's been shut out the first half?
It hasn't not long, not because a lot of people are, when everybody knows I'm a fan, so everybody starts texting me and sending me these things, and like he said, Dave. Dave was on, the Bears fan.
Okay.
So he texted me. He said, he's one of the best defensive performances he's ever seen in the Super Bowl.
Yes,
like he relative like to the 85 Bears, the 2000 Ravens, 83 Raiders, the Giants of the 90s, and then the 2007 and 2011 Giants. But in this year's Eagles team's defense in the Super Bowl might have been my favorite and was the best defensive performance of the Super era, because the zero blitz, there's the zero blitz rate to get 6 sacks on Patrick Mahomes. That's unheard of.
I say that's the most sacks he had all season, isn't it?
Probably
in one game.
Yeah.
And I believe you could double check me on this, ladies and gentlemen. I believe the last rookie to get a pick 6 in the Super Bowl was another Eagle.
Yep.
Back when it was just the national championship.
Yeah. Steve Van Buren.
It was almost 100 years ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Long time ago.
Crazy. And he was a white
boy.
And he was a white boy.
Yeah.
Let's go Birds.
So Miguel, what was your reaction? Well, did you did you like that the Eagles got the ball first? Like Andy put the ball in Jalen's hands first.
Yeah, I went back and forth on that. I was nervous at first because I know we like to get the ball first in the second half, right? But also I was like, okay, we can set the tempo. That way we have more possessions. We can set the clock possession, try to run that real quick. And, just I wanted to see how the refs were going to call things against us. And then, boom, one of the first plays is AJ Brown down the sideline, who barely touches the defender's face mask, and they call the PI, and I go, okay, this is how they're gonna call it. They're gonna call it close now.
Yep. Yep.
So in that aspect, it was kind of nerve-wracking, but to see them the way that they kind of were marching down the field, even though they didn't score on that drive, it let me know that, we could move the ball against their defense.
Mm-hmm. And so, like, the second drive that the Eagles had was they tried to run Barkley, right, Mark?
Yeah.
And they were putting like what, 35 guys in the box, right? It seemed like that's what they were doing.
Overloading. Yeah,
So,
they were definitely overloading.
Before the game started, and I'm downstairs talking to some people, one of the guys was there, says, you know what we need to do? We need to run a play action off the rip, throw it to Devontae Smith, call it. And I looked at him and said, nah, I got you one better. We need to do a play action, right? But they're going to have everyone in the box, and they have their top two corners, one on Brown. They're going to have one on Smitty. They're going to have someone as best they can safety-wise on Goddard. You know who they're not going to cover? Dotson. You're going to throw it up to Dotson, and he's going to take it.
Yeah.
Bro, it comes out of my mouth, and the Eagles produce. Now, granted, he couldn't quite get there with his knee.
Yeah.
But he literally, the guy looks at me and goes, damn. Like, you knew this was happening. I was like, yeah. Because I guess I was saying last night towards the end of the game was like, to me, the two MVPs of this game were Saquon and Carter. Not because of what they did in the game, but what they did to make the game go the way it was. The Chiefs had to focus so hard on Saquon. Because, Micah Parsons said last week, if you want to win the game, as a Chief, you got to put the ball in Jalen's hands and make him beat you. This is the second time in a row people have been trying to do this, thinking Jalen's a bum. So they're going to try to force it in Jalen, and Jalen goes, all right. Look, I've been taking it easy on the whole league by letting Saquon do the job. But you want me to do it? I'll do it. Puts up numbers. And Carter doesn't get a sack the whole game, but was double teamed the entire game.
And held a lot. 100%.
And he was smacked. He was talking to Mahomes. He's like, I'm going to get you.
Yeah,
they're holding me. I'm still going to get you.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, but they had to. And let everyone else throw free.
Jahan Dotson had 42 receiving yards to Mr. Travis Kelce's
39 yards.
39.
Yeah.
So I'll take that every day. Every day.
I will keep Jahan Dotson as our third string receiver. It's the first time in a while that I am more than comfortable with our third string receiver that we underutilize.
Yeah, he's locked up. The Eagles have him. He's not unrestricted or anything.
I'm just saying, I'd keep him around.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of players that we have because of the performance they had in the Super Bowl, earned them a big payday that's coming. Josh Sweat, Zach Bond, Milton Williams. Milton Williams made himself at least like another $10 million in his contract.
Oh, definitely.
With a strip sack, and two sacks and a strip sack, and a fumble recovery, he made himself some money. Mekhi Becton, he made himself some money the whole year. Like, we're going to see, it's going to be interesting to see how he does. So yeah, Eagles go up 7-0. They use a tush push. Jalen Hurts' first score. I hit on that parlay. I hit the nice. I hit on that. So I hit on that one. And I was excited because they marched down and they didn't score in that first drive, but they scored in that second drive. And I was nervous because Barkley wasn't getting the typical Barkley yards that we are accustomed to. He was kind of getting like little dips and drabs. And they said that they're going to limit him because
they shadowed him pretty good.
They did. They did a good. He still got 90 yards rushing. He still got 90 yards rushing.
I think it was 90 yards combined.
Was it 90 yards combined?
I think so. Yeah, let me check.
But I think he put like 60-something yards rushing, but that's like an average running back's rushing yards against a normal team. So,
he got 57 rushing yards.
Okay, yeah.
So by doing that, he is the number one rusher of all time in a whole season. Yeah. He beat out Terrell Davis.
Right.
Didn't get the 200 yards I put down on the parlay, but
I did that too. There was a whole bunch. There were so many. I think they said DraftKings put in 87 parlays that they did, like exclusive parlays, exclusive bets, and none of them hit.
Yeah.
816,000 people lost money on those exclusive bets that they put in there.
Well, I saw a thing where they said it was like, I think it was Caesar Sportsbook CEO or someone said that obviously every player is up for a vote for MVP.
Yeah.
And they said there was such a large margin of voters on CJ GJ to earn it, like bets.
Yeah.
He said that had it hit, would have bankrupted at least 2 different sports books.
I bet CJ to win it too.
But I'm saying, like, bankrupting these casinos, that would have been unreal.
Well, when after Cooper DeJean got that pick 6, I'm like, oh my god, could it be a defensive player going to become? Because defense, you could have given them the Eagles defense the whole MVP
as a whole. Oh yeah,
the whole team, right? Yeah. So he runs that back. Now it's like what, 14-0. And my wife's like, is that the guy whose birthday? Is it that guy's birthday? I'm like, yeah, he just returned an interception for a touchdown on his birthday. That's why I'm yelling, exciting.
Right. I think somebody said that they were at a bar, and especially on WIP, they said this, that it was the loudest pop of the night was when they did that at Xfinity Live. Like the crowd just went crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. And that, Patrick Mahomes was not, I would say, the Patrick Mahomes that we're used to seeing. He was somebody under distress, and they weren't changing their game plan.
No.
Well, their first play was like his first quick pass. I was like, this is the Chiefs we're about to see.
Yeah.
These quick, short, hard passes that are only going to be 7 to 10 yards all night until we bring everyone up, and then he'll go deep with Xavier Worthy. And that was my mindset. And we took that away so hard and so fast that they couldn't even do it again. It was just, here we go. Oh, wait, where did that play go? Where's my running backs? I didn't even see. What was the total rushing yards for the Chiefs last night? It had to be like minimal.
See, 25 from Patrick Mahomes, 9 from Hunt, 8 from Perrine, and 7 for Pachenko.
So you're saying not a single running back got 10 yards?
No.
Nope.
Whoa. 9, 8, and 7.
Buddies, our defense, amazing.
Yeah.
Well, they were playing catch up the whole time, so they got away from the running game.
Yeah. And that's why, and then that's where they get their 6 sacks.
Yeah. God, that was a good game, boys. I'm still I can't believe it happened.
I know, right? So then the Eagles, I think, end up punting, and they get them down towards like the 2 or 3 yard line, and the Chiefs have to get pass out of the end zone, and Zach Bond out of nowhere, interception. I'm like, Miguel's MVP bet. I'm like, could he, like, if he goes off and gets all these tackles and maybe another interception, we're thinking defensive player of the VP here. We could actually hit on that.
I was crying.
I couldn't believe it. I could not believe. I think that it took. I forget what time it was, but it took quite amount of time for the Chiefs to actually have a play in Eagles territory.
It was. I think it was the third quarter, wasn't it?
Yeah, it might have been. I took a screenshot of it, but I can't remember what it was. But the fact that Patrick Mahomes was running around with his head like a chicken, and they weren't blitzing him, and the secondary was completely blanketing all their receivers, all of them.
Can we touch base on the fact that another person to get pressure in there? Let's give it up to Jalen Hunt. Oh, man was on fire.
Jalen,
where did he come from?
Jalen Hunt.
I
was like, I'm here.
Yeah, he's playing hard. He's showing that he's game
ready. Sweat, bro. We have
and Brandon Graham. He played a good game, solid. He was Patrick Mahomes' face. He played enough to show that Bryce Huff was inactive for that game.
Yeah.
Bryce Huff, the guy that they put a lot of money into him, was inactive.
I think we need to get rid of him.
Yeah, he's gone. Don't worry.
We'll see him, Amo. I think it's 5 minutes and 43 seconds is the amount of time the Eagles trailed this whole postseason. They never trailed in a second, third, or fourth quarter.
That's wild.
And on top of that is that the Eagles offense put up 145 points, most points scored in a single postseason.
But we were the underdogs.
But the Eagles were the underdogs. They were underdogs by, it was 1.5 points, I think it was. And they ended up winning 40-22. And that 22 is like garbage. That last touchdown to Xavier
It
Worthy
really was 40-6. Let's be honest. This game was a blowout the whole time.
It should have been. Well, there was a shot where the camera caught. Like I think it was before halftime that they got like showing the Chiefs sideline, and you just see how just dead they were. There was no emotion.
They're deflated,
quiet. You just seen Kelsey just
staring
off into space, and it's just like this team doesn't have it. They don't have the fight in them today.
No, they were shell shocked.
Yeah,
they were shell shocked. And a team like an Andy Reid coach team never like comes out into a game, especially a Super Bowl, and plays that way. I don't think that's not the Andy Reid way. So the fact
was pissed that
he was. And there's a lot of penalties too, and I gotta say, like a lot of the penalties, they were like they were real penalties, like except for the AJ Brown penalty, like they also like made a payback for they called that on JJ Brown, but then they did a defensive pass interference and then they gave it back to the Eagles, gave the Eagles a first down.
When Goddard got hit in the face.
Right, Goddard. Right, yeah. Goddard went up. Ball wasn't catchable.
Mm-hmm.
But he hit him in the head, though. It wasn't pass interference. It was unnecessary roughness. He went head to head.
Right. He could have let that go, and he decided to give it to us just because he wanted to make up for the bad call.
Yes, but also at the same time, the officiating crew is the leading officiating crew for unnecessary roughness penalties. They call every hit. They were known to call every hit to the head in every game.
Good. Yeah.
So I mean, that was said. I remember seeing it before the game started because they're saying this referee calls the most defensive pass interference calls. These two refs are on the sideline called the most unnecessary roughness calls. This guy in the backfield is the most like on it for offsides and all that. I'm like, okay, so they're saying we're gonna throw the flag a lot, and like you saw that very first play to AJ. I mean, he literally is grabbing for it before the catch comes in. You're like, what is happening?
Yeah,
but they called a lot, and I'm not gonna bitch at it because they called a lot.
No, they did, but it was good that we took them out of the referees out of the game because, like, you don't want to get into a fourth quarter back and forth with Kansas City and then have the refs. One call be the determining factor of the game. So it was good that we put this game out of reach where they couldn't come back.
Oh, 100%. I think that was like a main goal we had to do because I think that's one of the biggest things that happens to any team that loses the Chiefs is if you keep the game close, then like you hear how many times has a game ended on a bad call and the players always say the same thing. We shouldn't have left it up to the refs.
Right.
Yeah.
So we just came in this year and said, we're not leave it up to the refs. So you guys can just do your thing.
Yeah, I agree. And I think we talked about that. We couldn't leave, room for error by a referee's bad call, right? So by them being up 24-0 going to halftime, I felt pretty good. Brady's commentary was mediocre at best, I'd say. Like,
I think secretly he was very happy that the Eagles won. Let's be honest here.
He protected his legacy.
Right. That's for sure.
Exactly.
For sure.
Because there's no more question about the GOAT conversation because Mahomes' era his little era is over. That's the over era that he's in now. Little Swifties.
So do you think that's it? Do you think that that's the end of the Kansas City Chiefs era and it's now the Eagles' turn?
So not only do I think it's, I mean, as much as I want it to be the Eagles' turn, more so, I see what Harbaugh did in 1 year with the Chargers. I see what Peyton did in 1 year with the Broncos. Those two teams want to have a fight. The Chiefs don't look like they're ready for it anymore. They've been getting away with it, and they're going up against coaches who know what they're doing with star young quarterbacks, with teamers around them. The Broncos need a few pieces. The Chargers need a few pieces. I hate to say it, the amount of rumor I've seen that have connected Vaughn with Sean Payton, I'm not a fan of it, but there's rumor that Vaughn's going to go a little west.
Yeah.
he would solidify defense out there as much as he did for us here.
And also the Raiders hiring Pete Carroll and your buddy to be the offensive coordinator is
could become a problem within a year or two.
I say Carroll.
Yeah.
Pete Carroll. Like
I was gonna let it go.
Little drinky.
Yeah, I mean, you know what?
This is a celebration podcast. You normally I'm not drinking.
As much as I hated him earlier in this year because he was with Ohio State.
Yeah.
There is a reason that he keeps getting hired by good teams.
Yeah, he must.
Even though the Eagles fans hate him because they don't understand what he did for us. But you see what he did with Oregon. You see what he did at UCLA. You see what he did with Ohio State. He runs offenses. He probably shouldn't be a head coach, but he may be the best offensive coordinator that's been coming out of college football the past couple of years. So
yeah,
he brings key things. I mean, every time he comes up to a team, he revolutionizes one way a team does something. He did it for us, even if we didn't agree with it then. We do it now. He did it for Oregon long before anyone else was doing it. He did it for UCLA, who was down in the dumps. Ohio State was always a good team, but they were kind of falling apart since they lost their coach. He kind of righted that structure. And I think, with Brock Bowers there, he's got some people to work with. I'm just saying Pat Mahomes is not going to have the breeze 6-0 through his division every year anymore.
No.
Now, on the other side of the coin, you were asking, is it now time for the Eagles?
Yes.
Well, my boys, this man right here just got a ring without playing in the game, and he doesn't like that.
He's talking about Nakobe Dean. He's holding up his Nakobe Dean jersey he's wearing.
You got to respect the
if you're not watching, you're listening.
Yeah, if you're just listening. There's a few players on this team. I mean, look, Saquon, Hurts, they feel great. But you can't tell. I mean, what they do, you go back, you talk to Jason Kelsey with his first podcast, and they asked him about, retirement after the first Super Bowl we won. And he was thinking about it. And he said, sometime in the summer, he was talking to his brother, and he was like, I've never wanted it more.
Yeah.
After I got it, I never wanted it more than now that I have one. I want a second. Yeah. I'm sorry. Do we not have probably the most complete team in the NFL right now? If we can keep Becton and Bond, I think there are two biggest, up in the air questions. Like most of the rest of the team is pretty solid.
Yeah.
I don't see why not, boys. I don't see why. Maybe we need a three-peat. It has to be in green.
Yeah.
I think that if we maintain this team, Nick Sirianni already told Kellen Moore, hey, let's run it back.
Loved it. Loved that he did that.
So who knows, man? If we're able to, and I'm sure Howie can, find a way to make those contracts fit, or talk them into staying to run it back to see if we can get it back to back. We are one of the youngest teams in the league. Even if we lose Bond, I still think we can still make a run next season.
I think we can too. I just think it's going to hurt a little bit.
It's going to be a little bit harder.
As long as Dean's healthy, and we got clearly we saw Burks and Hunt both look pretty good in his stead.
Burks is a free agent this year, though.
Well, but I think it's cheaper to keep him than Bond. If we had to let go of Bond, we can keep Burks.
Right.
It's going to be one or the other at that point. Sure. No, I think there's a lot of little things to look forward to. And honestly, do you really want to coach the Saints?
I know.
Who do they have going for them?
I was very, on Saturday, I talked to a friend who's a Giants fan. I thanked him for Saquon Barkley. And when he asked me what the score was, I told him my score. I've been telling everybody 34-10. He's like, he thought I was out of my mind. He really thought I was out of my mind. Like, I don't think so. The Eagles are pound for pound a better team than the Chiefs. And I got a text message after the game was over. He goes, I was wrong. You were totally. I'm like, right? It looks like I'm actually know what I'm talking about. It makes me look good. It makes me look good.
Agreed. I thought the whole sports books were crazy for thinking it was going to be a 1-point game.
Yeah, it was insane. It was insane.
Like,
it was not going to be that kind of game. So, all right. So the halftime stop is here. Eagles are up 24-0. I'm reeling the fact that it's 24-0. I was like, is this possible?
Yeah, I thought I was dreaming at this point. I'm like, I just fell asleep on my sofa. I'm about to wake up.
I'm like, are they going to put a 40 spot up in the Super Bowl? Like, is this possible? And then the halftime show came on. Gotta say, I didn't hate it. I loved watching Sierra Williams. What's her name? Venus Williams' sister.
Serena Williams.
Serena Williams. I'm really struggling right now.
Yeah.
I loved watching. Like that was cool to see her. Samuel L. Jackson. It was. I thought it was fun.
Cool.
I thought it was fun.
All of that was what they call in the hip hop game double and triple entendres.
Was it? Tell me, Miguel. Tell it. Lay it down, Miguel.
Well, so the whole Drake and Kendrick beef, right? So
Yes.
Serena Williams and Drake used to date. So having her on there was also a smack in the face to Drake. Samuel L. Jackson, of course, playing the political part of his story of playing Uncle Sam and saying if he has what it takes to bring America together, and just the whole picture of America's divided, like you saw the flag and he was in between the flag, and just a lot of artwork in there.
There was.
But then to play with the song of They Not Like Us, which is a completely just a Drake diss song that everybody thought he wasn't going to play because it's disrespectful.
Right.
Isn't it in the middle of like a lawsuit right now too?
Yeah. Definitely, it's a defamation lawsuit. Yeah,
it kept coming off and then not, and then it came on like 3 or 4 times. Like
because people didn't think he was going to actually do it.
Yeah.
Because of the way the song
provokes
Drake has a profile.
Yeah, well, because some of the people at our party said that he legally wasn't supposed to be allowed to perform it.
Right.
They said with the lawsuit there was like a stop order. He can't perform it.
Oh, he did.
And he was like,
and just the way that he started off when he was like, "Hey, Drake," and he looked at the camera and then smiled and went into the song.
Man,
and
I will.
Drake is like, he's never performed in the Super Bowl or whatever the case was. So now it's like it's a direct smack in the face to Drake. It was awesome.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was a pretty good halftime show. A lot of people were like,
"Yeah, man, there's definitely been better and there's been worse, but I think that was a good one."
Yeah, it wasn't,
But I will say at the same time, when you guys were like, "Is this real?"
Yeah,
I had someone look at me and go, "We're up 24-0. What a game!" I said, "Not enough. I want double." They said, "You want us to put up 40 points?" I said, "If I had it my way, we would put up 60, but I want at least double."
Yeah,
we almost got to double.
I kept saying, I said, we got to keep the pedal to the metal. Don't let up. Keep it going, and because you can't give an ounce of breathing room to Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes.
No, if they had come out on the opening drive and scored right away, I think we're talking a different Super Bowl. I still think we might pull down a win, but it's a fight.
Yeah, but they didn't, and they didn't.
No, we smacked them. We came out and said, "Excuse me, we told you no, old man."
Yeah, and so then I would say the second half of that game was all Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts rushed for the most by a quarterback, 72 yards. He broke his own record, I think. 72 yards rushing, passing like he had one interception, but that was like a blown coverage. He had a guy in his face. He threw it, but I was like, I was okay.
Yeah,
Jurgen decided not to block that play.
And so they come out, and Jalen Hurts decides, well, he's going to just take the game over with his arm, which they said, we're going to say, all right, we're going to stop Saquon and let Jalen Hurts beat us with his arm because, Jalen Hurts can't throw the ball. Jalen Hurts can't be under pressure. And what did he do? Tell me what he did.
Took over the game.
Took over that fucking game.
Took over the game. He put Chris Jones in that tush push. He fucked up Chris Jones' neck. Chris Jones on the sideline. Oh, tush push.
If Dotson hadn't tripped, it would have been a Dotson touchdown, a Smitty touchdown, a Brown touchdown. I mean, touchdowns just raining through the air.
Right, it's like that pass to Devontae Smith in the end zone.
That was a great pass.
Was a great, perfect. It was perfect pass. I saw the Jalen Hurts that we were talking about at the beginning of last year, right? Because he's coming off the Super Bowl loss, and we were like, he's hungry, and this is going to be the Jalen Hurts that we're expected because of what we saw the previous year. But yes, he lost the Super Bowl, but we saw what he could be. And last year we were like, what? Last year was last year, but this year, this is the Jalen Hurts that we saw on the stage. Colin Cowherd said that he was the least talented quarterback left in the divisional round, the least. and let's just say he's the last one standing.
Yeah, MVP, Super Bowl MVP. Put some respect on his name next time. Can't say nothing now. We can't. If you didn't think he was in top 10 before, now you're gonna think he's not top 5 because he's moving up them ranks.
He's top 5 now,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. And I just saw my brother sent me a power rankings, and the Eagles are not power ranked number 1 yet. They're 3 or 4.
I also don't think we're gonna be to start the next season. We're not gonna be number 1.
If you're the Super Bowl champions, you are ranked 1. And we even said this when we did our power rankings. We gave the Chiefs the number 1 ranking until they lost.
All right.
I give it to you this right now. I can tell you the start of next year's power ranking. I can tell you the number 1 team. It's Detroit Lions.
Well, we'll see what their offseason is going to be like.
I just don't know how you don't rank us number 1 when we just put the belt to ass on Kansas City. You know what I mean? That doesn't.
Oh, agreed.
They were considered the dynasty before they even really, won the game.
Had a dynasty. Yeah. They died. It was a nasty death.
Sure did. They had a funeral last night for him.
So then the Eagles
had their dynasty.
So the Eagles come out. It's 24-0. They put up another 10 points. They're up 34-0, and then they finally get a touchdown. The Chiefs. And I'm thinking, all right, we got to make an answer. We got to answer that touchdown, and they do. They answer that touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
And so
they like stopping the 2 point, which was great.
They stopped at 2 points. So, but I was like, I need them to get that 1 point so they can get the 10, and it can be 34-10, and we can stop the game. And I hit on my bet. That's all I was doing. Like, okay, I have this bet. This bet's going to hit. I placed, I don't even know how many bets yesterday, but I definitely made my money back. Let me just say that.
That's good.
There you go.
I like that. I think I started with like $35 and I ended with 104. So I'm good.
I started with 5. I ended with 5.
Nice. That's you can't beat breaking even, right?
Nope.
Exactly.
All right. So now the Eagles are. I guess it's the third quarter. Tom Brady says the game's almost over. You only got 3 minutes left. I'm like, Tom, it's the third quarter. This game is not over yet. Going into the fourth quarter, they had a cushy lead. It was what 34-14, I think. And I'm thinking, is that enough? Do we need more? Do we need more points? And I'm thinking, yes, we need more points. We need more points because you just never know.
Going into the fourth quarter, they only scored 6 points. They scored every other point in the fourth quarter.
Is that what it was?
Yep.
Wow. Wow. I can't wait. I can't wait to watch the condensed version and watch it now with the two of you because, again, when the game ended, so the game ends 40-22. I'm sitting on the couch, literally in shock of like, what happened? Like the Eagles dismantled a 15-2. It was a 15-2 team. They were 15-2.
Mm-hmm.
The Chiefs.
Right.
They literally only gave up 14 points. Those 22 points, that wasn't really what the game was. But the Eagles legitimately put up 40 points against a 15-2 team. It looked like ease. Like the defense alone was I think so unstoppable. Like that defense was not going to be beaten by Patrick Mahomes. They didn't I guess I looked at it as like the defense didn't think Patrick Mahomes was the greatest GOAT, the GOAT of all time, right? They didn't see him as that. They just looked at it as some regular, some Joe off the street, and they just beat him down. They beat him down.
That's what he did. I mean, when you're throwing the ball when you're not supposed to be throwing the ball, which is across your body, running away from the direction that you're throwing in, you know that you're in his head because he's doing things that he does not fundamentally does during the regular season. So I think they knew from the beginning that they were already in his head, and it was great to see him flustered the way that he was. And we didn't even blitz. 0 blitzes.
0 blitz rate. 0.
And
he gets 6 sacks.
Got there with the front 4, just giving up pressure, man. That was amazing.
Let me just go over this real quick. Make sure I understand all this.
Mm-hmm.
So Saquon's a little costly, out of his prime, right? Big Fangio's a little old. His defenses have been time and time again. They're not good anymore, right? Slay's old. He's not going to do it. Jalen Hurts can't throw the ball. Our defense is absolutely the worst defense in the league. Right? So, like, what do you expect from this team, boys? What do you think you're going to make the playoffs? Think you're going to beat down the NFC Championship game with 55 points? You think you're going to come into the Super Bowl and win it? You're out of your mind, Eagles fans.
Yeah.
I'm happy where I am as an Eagles fan, my guys.
I agree.
I'm not complaining. I'll take last year. If you told me that when we were recording at the end of the season last year that yes, we lost, we ended up 11-6, and it was that terrible losing streak. I said, don't worry about it, Miguel Mark. I saw the future, and we're going to be Super Bowl champions next year. So just sit tight, and we'll be okay.
I would have laughed at you.
Right. Would have laughed, right?
Yeah, definitely. Like, how we going to do that, Mike? How we going to do that, Mike? This team is falling apart, man.
Yeah. And let's remember, okay? Let's flash back to week 4. Week 4. I am saying Nick Sirianni needs to be fired. We just lost to the Falcons because Saquon Barkley can't catch the ball. This team may be lucky to make the playoffs. I remember saying that. I did not believe that this team was going to be where the end is now. But boy, did they make a believer out of me.
Yes, they
And
did.
I will eat crow for everything I said. I will not say, I'll mark my words now. I am never saying a bad word about Jalen Hurts. And I'm never going to say a bad word about Nick Sirianni. Done. I'm done.
I think I'm there with you. I'm going to keep my mouth quiet anytime Jalen has a bad game. I'm going to keep my mouth shut. It's just a bad game. That's all it is.
That's all it is.
And we'll wait for the end of the season results.
And
That's not my last Super Bowl ring.
Oh boy,
It's somewhere. I got to find it. I got to get another one.
I need to order another one of these guys.
You do have to order one of those.
You know it.
I'm now convinced that Nick Sirianni might not look like the greatest coach out there, but yet his statistics will prove me otherwise. But the fact that he has players saying and repeating his quote, "You can't be great without the greatness of others." Not only like Jalen Hurts was saying it, Saquon Barkley was saying it,
Yep.
AJ Brown was saying it, all during their interviews yesterday.
Yep.
That tells me it doesn't matter what the outside world says. It matters whatever's inside those 4 walls at NovaCare Center, because whatever they're saying to those players, they're putting their egos aside. They're putting away their feelings towards each other, and they are becoming one family. And they're listening to Nick Sirianni. Whatever it is he's saying, it's sticking, and it's working.
That connectiveness, that connectivity that they talked about at the end of the season, man, it takes me back to Sirianni's opening press conference when he talked about planting the seed and watering the seed and letting it flower. If this is what he was talking about, bro, it's beautiful.
I think you're right.
Beautiful.
I think that's what he was talking about. We were just too, I guess, hurt from what had previously happened to even take into account what he's actually going to do.
Yeah.
Man, what a feeling.
What a feeling.
What a feeling.
What a difference recording a Super Bowl podcast, a Super Bowl winning podcast is to recording a losing Super Bowl podcast.
The only thing that's sad about it is that now we have nothing to talk about. Other than to gloat for the offseason and
I know.
Enjoy the draft here in April.
Yeah, we're going to like I said, we're going to have we got 10 more minutes left. So we're going to have we're going to do a watch along, a condensed version of the Super Bowl on Thursday. We'll put out that link if you want to watch on YouTube. And then we'll have 2 or 3 more podcasts after that. We'll do our awards podcast. We'll do our free agents to be podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll end. And then I guess our last podcast is going to be the awards one. And that will be it for the season.
You got to realize because of the change in schedule, with the Super Bowl being so late, the combine's in 2 weeks.
See, we do have things to talk
football
about.
Just keeps going, boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's a year-round sport now.
It really
Yeah,
it
it
is.
is.
Yeah, and the United Football League starts in 2 weeks, I think.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we do have like 2 or 3 more episodes to do. We'll do our awards podcast, and that will be our last for the season. And we will come back April something for our draft preview, which will be the beginning of season 4 for us. Like,
So how about
Guys.
that 30-second pick, boys?
it
How
looks-
about that
looks
30-second
looks
pick?
pretty good. I
I
heard.
feel like I smell. Yeah.
Did you see Abdul Carter was in New Orleans with Jalen Carter? He wants to be here. Abdul Carter wants to be
Oh,
here.
he is straight up said. He's like, if they asked him, where would you, if you could go anywhere, he's, I'd go to Philly. He's like,
Yeah.
but I know I'm not falling to 32.
No, everybody wants to come here now. Everybody, including Myles Garrett.
Myles Garrett.
Apparently, so does Crosby, and everyone, even though they won't admit it, everyone knows Parsons.
Michael Parsons was to be here like yesterday.
Of course, he wants to be here yesterday. Everyone wants to be here yesterday.
Actually, literally, he wants to be here yesterday.
Did you see Michael Parsons? They were showing him team logos, and they were like he was supposed to hold up an emoji of what he thought about those teams, and then they held one up at the Giants. He put out like an angry face with the curse word like across the mouth. And he was like, they told me they were going to draft me, and they didn't, and they ended up drafting
Tony.
Thibodeau.
Yeah. No, not Thibodeau. Kadarius
Oh.
Tony.
Yeah, Tony
Okay,
instead of
okay,
Parsons. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right,
He was like,
right,
I
right.
hate that team.
You know what's great is that Kenny Pickett has a Super Bowl ring and more pass attempts in the Super Bowl than Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and Dak Prescott combined.
Which is one, right? Because he missed it.
He's won, and he has the ring to prove it.
He gets one of these.
He has -4 rushing yards in the Super Bowl, Kenny Pickett, but still,
Yeah.
he has a statistic that he was there.
Yep, he was there. He played.
Can't take that away from anybody, no matter
Never.
what.
Also
Plus,
crazy.
Side
Also
note,
crazy. The Eagles average over 40 points per Super Bowl.
you can't beat that either.
I mean, we scored 35 the last one, so
Well, I'm winning Super Bowl.
Oh,
If we
okay.
if we break 40, we win. That's just what it
Also,
is.
This is a little side note. The Eagles are undefeated with Carson Wentz on the sidelines in the Super Bowl.
You're not wrong.
my dad kept asking if he was gonna get in the game, and I was like, that'd be crazy if he does.
Yeah, my brother texted me before the game. He goes, I'll tell it right now. Patrick Mahomes goes down with an injury. Carson Wentz comes in and fillets the Eagles. I'm like that would be
No.
pure cinema, and it's not going to happen.
I will say though, one thing I saw in the game, and we are pointing out, is that we saw old school Andy Reid with time management,
Yep.
and we almost saw a resurgence of McNabb. I saw 3 or 4 balls to the dirt from
Yeah.
Mahomes. I was like, McNabb?
I'm not going to argue with you. I
Yeah.
did see
He
some
pulled off the
McNabb
mask.
passes. I did see some McNabb passes.
Yeah. I was like, that's the Andy Reid we know. That's the passing game we know.
I guess somebody sent me a picture, and it was like a picture of Patrick Mahomes' body, but with Ben Simmons' face. I was like, Ben Simmons just entered the NFL as Patrick Mahomes.
That's nice.
It's a good time.
I had a friend who I was texting back and forth, and he texts us a picture. He was at the game, midfield, great seats, unreal time, unreal.
Yeah, I saw a couple people that I know was out there too.
Unreal.
Special shout out to Bobby. Bobby was out there. But yeah, special shout out to my family for hosting the party last night. That was off the hook. Lost my voice, was screaming, going crazy out there. That was a good time. It's definitely can't wait for Friday's parade.
Yes, we have to discuss what we're going to do for that. Friday's parade is early in the morning. We'll see how we're going to get there and what we're going to do. We'll talk about that on Thursday.
It sounds good to me.
Sounds good.
Gentlemen, it was great talking the day after Super Bowl with you guys.
It was good to talk about a
It
Super
feels
Bowl
great.
win. Let's go.
Yes.
You know how we do, fellas. EAGLES.
Eagles, let's go, birds. Super
Hey,
Bowl
Mike, you know
champs.
you got to close it out on "We Are the Champions," baby.
Yeah.
are champions. We are champions. The best part of me, here to catch me through the bad times. Like the truth we see, you stay in my mind like a fantasy. As the world turns round, time is standing still. If it ever ends, we'll do it again. As the world turns round,